frankly, I ran into you on Saturday. We had this conversation in miniature, but I just think that if somebody else buys this league, your phone's going to ring. I mean, you guys were the only. Did anybody else even have one loss in the league? I mean, you guys, I know, were the only undefeated team in the XFL when the league ended.
No, I think there was a couple teams 3-2, and we were 5-0. So I know that if the league happens, that my phone will ring, and I'm not sure because all the coaches still have a second year on their contract, so I don't know if that means that they pick up all that too. I don't know how the legality goes of those things, but I know that the opportunity to go back to Houston will be there.
Would you, if the league's reincarnated, would you just as soon go back to Houston?
Yeah, I love Houston. I've lived there through the Gamblers for 10 years with the Gamblers and the Oilers. I had a house there. My kids went to high school there. So, I like the city. It's a good town, and I would have no problem going back.
What is up, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the XFL Week in Review. I'm your host, Mark Perry, editor-in-chief at XFL News Hub. On this week's show, we talk about San Francisco and Chicago are in the works for XFL cities. Plus, we're going to have a little fun a little bit later in the show. I'll get to that in a second. If you want to get in touch with the show, you email podcast@xflnewshub.com with your MP3s or videos, or call 888-430-7692 extension 3. Remember to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the show. And remember, we have our sister podcast, AEW Week in Review, that you can check out weekly there on wherever you get your podcast stuff, so you can still hang out with me. So we got the news this week, but what I wanted to do is have some fun. And I got this box of XFL cards, and I haven't opened them yet, as you can see if you're watching on the YouTubes. And so we're going to open those up in a little bit after we get to the news. First, though, I want to just give a shout out to our sponsor a while back. This is a freebie. If you're out there, check out Mother's Cantina if you want to go there. Friend of the show. If you're in Ocean City, Maryland, I know things are starting to open up. Just say, hey, Mark from XFL News Hub said to come check us out. Mother's Cantina is on 28th Street Plaza, Philadelphia Ave in Ocean City. I know things are starting to open up in Ocean City. You can go check out their place, Tex-Mex stuff. And by the way, you can get your very own Mother's Cantina mask. That's right, Mother's Cantina mask for only $5. Wear it around, protect yourself. I thought that was a great thing, and they're cool. I love the logo. Great guys, great food over there. So check them out, just supporting our local businesses. And I got their sweatshirt on right now here. Yeah, there you go. On that. So appreciate them, and just hoping that them, like a lot of other businesses across the country or in restaurants or in a tough spot, and just support the local businesses as best you can. Looks like things are picking up, but then you look at the data, it may not be so much. So we'll see about that. Another thing, I got a lot of questions this week about whether or not the XFL is not going to be in Dallas. So of course, clearly, we're in Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and everything is we don't know what's going to happen yet. All right, we don't know. But I can tell you that just because they put the stickers down and pulled the stickers down off of some doors does not mean that Dallas, if the XFL comes back, which is looking pretty decent at this juncture. We know we've had over somewhere between 20-something potential proposals, NDAs signed. That's all out there. So just because they pulled some stickers down doesn't mean the team is leaving Dallas. Like, that was much to do about nothing. So Dallas fans, have no fear. Your team ain't moving anywhere. You're good. But we got some interesting news this week about Houston, San Francisco, Chicago, and some other things. We'll get into the news, and then we'll get into our little fun unboxing, and then into your social media stuff, friends. So far, everything this week, XFL-wise, the last 2 weeks since we met, big shout out to Mike Mitchell. A lot of reaction to his on our interview. I thought it was great. Great to hear a response from you guys. We're working on some more interviews that I think you guys will enjoy. So we'll get into news. We'll have some fun unboxing. And then we'll get into your social media stuff. So without further ado, folks, let's just get into the weeks, because it's been 2 weeks, that was the XFL. San Francisco and Chicago were in the works to be XFL cities. This is from our own Matthew Shapiro. When Vince McMahon announced the XFL would be launching in January 2018, one of the first questions that got asked was, what cities would be chosen to have teams? The XFL then went on to announce 8 cities, all big markets, and all already have an NFL team, well, excluding St. Louis. Many fans question why some big markets like Chicago were not included. However, 2 years after the cities were announced, in an interview with Sports Innovation Lab, former XFL Director of Football Operations Sam Schwartzstein revealed that Chicago, along with San Francisco, was in the original plans for the XFL. That's right, Chicago and San Francisco were in. Chicago would be in the place of a team that ended up being Tampa, and San Francisco would have been in place of Seattle, according from Sam Schwartzstein. Now, San Francisco was a target for the XFL because of the XFL's success in San Francisco in 2001 in the inaugural season. San Francisco was dropped from the 2020 XFL because its venue, Oracle Park, was too expensive. San Francisco was replaced by Seattle, which gave the XFL a team in the Pacific Northwest. Looking back on this past season, Seattle was a fantastic, amazing choice, as some of the best fans in the league, some of the best attendance in the league, so things kind of worked out there. Now, as far as Tampa, they replaced Chicago because the XFL wanted a nicer climate team, and especially Chicago in February and March, not so good versus, say, somebody like Tampa, so they wanted to have a team in Florida, and Tampa was a good option there. Although San Francisco would be a solid place for the XFL, we're happy to say that clearly everything in Seattle turned out well. However, Tampa didn't do as great, and there were rumors, even on XFL News Hub, that the Vipers might be moving to Orlando. But could Chicago be added as a possibility? Just have no fear, Texas fans. Your Dallas team isn't going anywhere, I can tell you that. And your Houston Roughnecks will not be going anywhere as well. That's, of course, if the XFL returns in 2021. So in another good sign of the future of the XFL, Mark Berman, sports director at Fox 26, KRIV, is reporting that the University of Houston has agreed to renew the TDECU stadium rental agreement with the XFL. Quote, another sign that if the XFL is resurrected, the league could continue to have franchise in Houston, according to sources with knowledge of the talks between the Cougars officials and XFL representatives. Says UH has agreed to honor the TDECU stadium rental agreement that was in place for the Houston Roughnecks and would be part of the assets a buyer would receive if the XFL is acquired through bankruptcy proceedings. So, as part of Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings, the XFL reached out to cities like Seattle and St. Louis and Houston to secure their license agreements. They basically make these as assets to the person who's going to purchase the XFL. So in effect, the new owner would own these rights if the XFL returned it. Basically XFL 3.0. In court documents, we learned late last month that over 20 potential buyers have signed NDAs. We also learned the Houston Roughnecks head coach June Jones would be on board if the XFL will return in 2021. The Roughnecks finished 5-0 in the shortened season, ranking third in total offense at 343.4 yards per game. That was behind, well, we can call him the MVP of the league, PJ Walker. Third in total defense, and first in sacks. A CFL executive calls the XFL quarterbacks hamburgers and said Tommy Maddox was better. Longtime CFL coach and executive Jim Barker thinks that XFL QBs were below par in their inaugural 2020 season. The four-time Grey Cup champion told Dan Ralph of the Canadian Press, quote, "Who wants to go watch some of the hamburgers they had playing quarterback," Barker said. PJ Walker was fun to watch. He was an interesting guy, but I don't know if you'll ever see him in the NFL. Barker knows a little bit about the first iteration of the XFL. He was offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Extremes in 2001. XFL legend, which we should call him, Tommy Maddox won the XFL Player of the Year and the only XFL championship that year with Barker. Quote, "The only XFL quarterback I can think of who made any kind of impact was Tommy Maddox, who played for us. When you don't have identifiable players that people say, you know what, I want to go see that, it's tough," Barker said. Now, Barker made those comments in April. Roughnecks QB PJ Walker signed a 2-year, $1.565 million contract that included a $150,000 signing bonus and a $25,000 workout bonus with the Carolina Panthers in March. Also, Battlehawks quarterback Jordan Ta'amu signed a 1-year deal with the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. So, Mr. Barker, apparently maybe he likes his hamburgers to moo, perhaps, or way undercooked, because the XFL only played 5 games in 2020. Walker and Ta'amu signed their NFL deals soon after the season was cut short. So when was the last time a CFL quarterback signed that type of deal? Well, it wasn't too far off. The Arizona Cardinals signed CFL quarterback Chris Streveler to a futures contract in February. He played for the Grey Cup champion Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 2019. So a Grey Cup champion QB gets a futures contract, and a hamburger gets $1.565 million. So let me ask you, Barker, which league is actually serving up the hamburgers? Barker is currently a football operations consultant and special teams coach for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The CFL is projected to start its 2020 regular season in September. The old ball coach might be interested in returning to the XFL. Last time we saw Steve Spurrier coach on a football field was March 30th, 2019, when his Orlando Apollos of the AAF took on the Memphis Express. The Apollos topped the Express 34-31, close game. Josh Kendall of the Athletics spoke with the legendary former Florida Gators head coach, who still wants to coach at 75 years old. This time, however, it would be in a potentially rebooted XFL. Quote, "If that XFL cranks up and they would want me to take a team down in Florida, I would probably do it." Close quote. This is Kendall speaking with Steve Spurrier. Spurrier's Apollos finished 7-1 and were the top team in the AAF before it folded. The Tampa Bay Vipers, before the league shut down, were reportedly eyeing a move to Orlando for the 2021 season. Mark Trestman, however, leads the Vipers. They were only 1-4, but looked much better heading into week six with quarterback Taylor Cornelius at the helm. But Spurrier would be a much bigger draw in Florida in a rebooted XFL. Also, Steve Spurrier versus Bob Stoops battle or Spurrier versus June Jones would make for great football and great television. We'll find out more if the XFL will return in the coming months. All right, we'll be back with your social media stuff right after this. Stay tuned.
What's up, XFL Army? If you're a fan of the XFL News Hub and you have a telephone, which I know all of you do because you're sitting there playing on your phones all the time, then why not download the XFL News Hub app? That's right, it's on iTunes. It's on Android. We have an Android version and an iPhone version of the XFL News Hub app. So what do you get? You get the latest news from XFL News Hub, the premier source of XFL news in the universe. Plus, you get push notifications when we have breaking news. You will be the first to know. You can leave a comment on some of the news right from your phone. Plus, you get this podcast on your phone as well. Remember, you can leave us reviews on the Google Play Store or iTunes. It links to other social media, our other social media accounts, and so much more. Be in the know. I know you're on your phones. People are on their phones all the time. They never get off their phones. So why not just download the XFL News Hub app on your Android or iPhone today? All you need to do is go to the Google Play Store or iTunes and just type in XFL News Hub. That's XFL News Hub. Download our app on your phone today.
All right, my friends, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Let's go into our special box here. The XFL box. Now, I wasn't going to open them and like, well, those cards are going to be worth a lot of money someday. You shouldn't do that, blah, 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 blah. Please. I collected baseball cards since I was a kid, and all of them are worth nothing. I remember my friends would spend, like, oh, we should get the latest, get 10 Greg Jeffries cards. And I think they're worth like $2 or something. So, please, they're not going to be worth that. Relax. That was like, oh, yeah, I have a Hornus Wagner card from 1920. All right, so first box or first card to open up. Let's check this out. Let's see what we got here. I'm excited. We got Durant Miles, defensive end for Seattle. Jalen Collins, cornerback, Vipers. Jamar Summers, cornerback for the Guardians. That's a good one. I think he got a deal somewhere. Jerron Smith, safety of the Dallas Renegades. Leonard Tillery, running back. Battlehawks. I don't think he played at all. Oh, we got the green screen thing happening. Brant Weiss, offensive tackle, Guardians. Colin Thompson, tight end for the Tampa Bay Vipers. He got a deal with the same P.J. Walker's team, the Carolina Panthers. So that's a cool one. Mikhail McKay, wide receiver. I don't think he really did anything. Well, no, he was all right that year. All right, finally, one of my DC defenders, Hunter Niswander, kicker punter. I thought he was going to do both. And finally, we got Keenan Brown, tight end for your New York Guardians. So cool. All right, I got a DC defender. I like that. No big name quarterbacks in that one. Really, I guess the guys that I want, P.J. Walker, of course, Cam Phillips, like to get him. And, of course, any DC defenders will do. All right, next bag up. Box thing up. Channing Strebler, cornerback for the Seattle Dragons. DeMontez Mount, defensive end. Don't know if he did anything. Oh, we got a head coach. I like to get Pep Hamilton. Mark Trestman. We were talking about him. Got a Mark Trestman card. That's a good one. All right, here we go. Here's a good one. Nelson Spruce, who was having a fantastic season, probably would have been coming back soon. Nelson Spruce out there. Would love to see, again, another reason. I mean, I think without P.J. Walker, if the XFL were to come back, I think LA would be a team to beat. They were on the cusp of doing some great things, and Nelson Spruce being back, he was money in the beginning of the season. So that's a good one. Terrence Garvin, linebacker, Battlehawks. Colin Jeter, tight end, Dragons. Ryan Davis, wide receiver. Okay, that's a good one. Trey Williams, running back, Dragons. Got a lot of Dragons. Mohamed Cisse, cornerback, Dragons. And Storm Norton, who also, we got an article about him signing a deal. I forget where he signed for. Of the LA Wildcats. He signed a NFL contract too. So we got NFL contract guys in here too. All right, next one. I mean, I got like a bunch of these, so I ain't going anywhere. You going anywhere? I'm just interested in seeing what this is all about. Remember, we got your social media stuff right after this. All right, let's see what we got here. And I'm going to get a nice little binder for it. And if you can find these, I got to get more. All right, here we go. BJ Daniels, quarterback. That's a good one. Oh, here you go. Do you think he's coming back? Bob Stoops. Your Dallas Renegades. I think he would come back. If it was a good owner like Disney or Fox or somebody reputable that had the cash, I think he would come back. So BJ Daniels is a good one. Bob Stoops is a good one. Ray Davis, linebacker, Dallas. Luis Perez, New York Guardians, and a traded card too. Because remember, he was traded. So it's got his LA stuff on there. So yeah, that Luis Perez, I think he did good. I wish some of these guys would get more of a shot in the NFL. Running back Tim Cook, he did pretty good for your Guardians. Quentin Flowers, remember when he was like I'm done and then I'm back? Quentin Flowers, Tampa Bay Vipers. Oh, Bumani Rotini Jr., he had a good season. I don't think he signed with anybody from the New York Guardians. He was good. Matt Jones, running back. All right, there you go. With your St. Louis Battlehawks, Matt Jones. That's a good one. Tyree Jackson, quarterback. There you are, DC Defenders. I was at all the DC Defenders home games. I didn't think he looked that great. Big dude, big quarterback standing behind there. They didn't really do much with him. They won that game. That was ball control, not whipping it all over the field. But he did. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, he's the future. I don't think so. Oh, and Jarrell Presley, running back, DC Defenders too. All right, so I got a couple of DC Defenders guys out there. I'm excited about that. Next pack. So this thing came with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 packs. All right, what do we got here? I want P.J. Walker, Cam Phillips. Jake Payne, offensive tackle for the Battlehawks. Cyril Richardson, guard for Seattle. Dante Dye, wide receiver. I don't think he played for Tampa. Oh, Jamar Summers. We got another one. We got 2 cards for New York Guardians. Anybody want to trade? Remember when you used to flip cards? We used to flip cards. We used to flip baseball cards. And I was a nerd because I could remember like all their stats from the cards all the time. And I was excited because I wanted to get my XFL Topps cards right here. And I wanted to, it would just help me learn the players better. And I was excited about collecting them. And then, So I'm still on the lookout. I always go to Target and look. All right. James Butler, great player for the Houston Roughnecks. Oh, here we go. Landry Jones, star card. He's got the star card. Landry Jones, banged up, but always the second half. I really wanted to see what he could do down the stretch for Dallas. And a lot of you nerds wanted Eric Dungy to come in there. Who knows if he would have come in there. Savion Smith, Roughnecks, cornerback. That's a good one. Lene Marava, offensive tackle, LA. Kenneth Farrow, good running back for Seattle. And Matt Elam, who was cut, DC Defenders. I have to give this to my son's friend because he's a big Matt Elam fan. But yeah, Matt Elam cut. I need to find out what happened with that. Why was he cut? I'm going to have to do some scoops. But yeah, Matt Elam. Was really surprised by that one, and no one picked him up. But we got Matt Elam, DC Defenders card. Yeah, we were all upset. I am a Ravens fan too. So, and each of these packs comes with 10 cards, just in case you were wondering. All right, next pack. We're like halfway through here. Settle down. All right, let's see. We got Cervantes Jones, Tampa. I had him on my fantasy team, and I don't think he did anything. Ryan White, cornerback, Battlehawks. Cameron Artis Payne, running back, your Dallas Renegades. LaDamian Washington, wide receiver. He had a good season, I think, with the Battlehawks. Juwan Johnson, linebacker, New York Guardians. Oh, I got both quarterbacks. Brandon Silvers from Seattle. BJ Daniels was going to blow it up. I think he was going to do good. Roman Tatum, Tatum, your cornerback for LA. Sergio Castillo, I think he's in the XFL, kicker for, or not the XFL, CFL, kicker for the Houston Roughnecks. That's a good one. Avery Genesee, offensive tackle for Houston. I think he might have signed somewhere. And Darius James, offensive tackle, Dallas. All right, next one. Some good players up in here. I got some good ones. I'm excited. Oh, doesn't this make you super excited if the XFL comes back? Oh, man. I'm excited. I'm holding out hope. Adonis Jennings, wide receiver, LA. Did he even play much? Oh, here we go. June Jones. Coach, your pseudo-champion, Houston Roughnecks. All right, here we go. Jordan Taiamu with your Battlehawks, now with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to have to get, if they make their NFL card, I'm going to have to get both of them. James Butler, all right, we got 2 cards we want to trade. Got him already. Lance Dunbar, running back, Dallas. Got him. Oh, there we go. Jalen Merrick, cornerback, your DC Defenders, America's team. I haven't said that in a while. Marcus Williams, quarterback, New York Guardians. He played a little bit. Aaron Murray, quarterback, Vipers. All right, we're getting some quarterbacks here. Donald Pumphrey, yeah, DC Defenders. Running back. Oh, we got another one. Kari Lee also signing a contract. He is DC Defenders too. All right. I got some good defenders. No Cardell, though. And no Sonic the Hedgehog hidden cards in here. Just want to point that out. And I did watch Sonic the Hedgehog. I think I posted it on our Twitter account. And it was a good movie. Jim Carrey was good. It was just a good movie. I was really surprised. All right. Marco Myers, cornerback, Seattle. Ooh, Jerry Glanville. They're doing the assistant coaches, too. Tampa, defensive coordinator. Another Bob Stoops. Can trade that one out. We can flip. Matt McGloin. Bust in the XFL? New York Guardians? Bust? Hyped and bust? Maybe. Oh, LaDamian Washington, stars of the XFL. St. Louis Battlehawks. He was great. He played well. Randall Hall, defensive back for the Vipers. Eli Rogers, DC Defenders. Yeah, he played well. He played well for them. He was like one of their main wide receivers. Scooby Wright, linebacker, best name, defensive player name. He played well in DC. Larry Rose, he was the guy with the flips, right? Was it him or no? I can't remember. You guys can... No, I don't think it was. Nah, it wasn't. It might have been him. No, I can't remember. Maybe it was. I think it was him. That's a good one. One game, and then he was hurt after the next game. Oh, Sam Mobley. He didn't really do anything for Houston, did he? Look at all these cards, man. Look at all these cards if you're watching on the YouTubes. Hold on. Getting them all. Or, as my kids used to say, gorganized. Look at all those cards. Pretty cool. All right. Only a couple more packs left. We need Cardell, and we need... What else do we need? Oh, we want PJ Walker. But I'm getting some doubles. Don't you hate that? Kenny Robinson. Yeah, this is a good one. Battlehawks. Kenny Robinson. Now in the NFL. I like that. Ted Redding, wide receiver, New York Guardians. Brandon Barnes. He was my tight end in fantasy, which, by the way, we're still working on. I'm still building a fantasy app. Yes, I'm still building one. He was and then he got hurt. He's doing okay. Last I heard that he's, getting better with his knee injury. Tristan DeCloud, he's cornerback for your Dallas Renegades. Jeff Badditt, wide receiver. He didn't do anything in the XFL, Dallas. He was hyped. Ooh, I got to sign one. DeAndre Tompkins, signed card. Congratulations, you have received a Topps autograph card from 2020 Topps XFL. DC Defenders, cool. DeAndre Tompkins card. And he did all right. I think they would have gotten things going in DC. Cool. I like it. That's a good one. Flynn Nagel, good wide receiver from Dallas. He played well. Oh, and look at this. Not only did I get the signed DeAndre Tompkins card, I got the regular DeAndre Tompkins card. Very cool. Tanner McElroy, wide receiver for Tampa, and another Quentin Flowers card. So I got some guys I'm going to trade. If you all want to trade with me, maybe we can flip cards. So what you do is you flip cards, and then you flip the card on the back, and then whatever the position was that matched, then you get to keep the cards. But you had to put some good ones in there, and you basically did most of your junk cards in there. All right, we got 2 packs left, my friends. Andre Williams, running back, Houston. Freddie Martino, Dallas. Oh, here was a good one. Donald Parham, tight end, now in the NFL. Can't wait to watch him. Saeed Blacknall, also, I think he's in the CFL for LA. Excited about Donald Parham. I want to see him do good. Stanley Makaponga, defensive end, Seattle. Elijah Campbell, cornerback, DC, your DC Defenders, America's team. DeAndre Wesley, offensive tackle, your DC Defenders. Nick Truesdale, hyped. Number 1 tight end, but got a little injured. Did do that great. Nick Truesdale, tight end. I didn't see him get signed with anybody. Marcus Young, running back, Dallas. And Jaquez Smith, defensive end, Seattle. All right, our last pack, my friends. And then we'll get to your social media stuff. Last pack. Are we going to get Cardell? Or are we going to get... Who are we going to get? All right, first up. Gerard Hurd, wide receiver, Dallas. Okay. Martez Carter. That's the guy who did the flip. Martez Carter. Larry Rose, they were kind of like... I'm telling you, I think LA is poised. If they come back, my preseason pick would probably be LA if I were to pick. But, yeah, Martez Carter, that he had a great game. Kristen Michael, running back, Battlehawks. He didn't get it. No one signed him, but he looked okay. Ben Heaney, linebacker, New York Guardians. Trey Caldwell, cornerback for your Battlehawks. Got a traded card here. Pace Murphy, offensive tackle with your Dallas Renegades. Nick Holley, there we go, running back. He had a great season for Houston. I'm telling you, Houston, well, clearly, I'm sorry. Houston would be the team again with Connor Cook, but LA would be, I think those would be the 2 tops. Oh, here we go. One of the guys, your Hokie, former Hokie, who hasn't been signed with the NFL, and Cam Phillips, yes. All right, this is one that I wanted. Cam Phillips. Stunned that he's not signed with the team, but I think everything that went on just really didn't help. Finally, Trayvon Sanders, offensive tackle, LA. And Taylor Rosalino, kicker. He was out there on the Twitter recently looking for a gig. There you have it. So we got Bob Stoops, we got Cam Phillips, June Jones, some good coaches in there, some good players. A lot of great memories, man. So if you have a chance to get out there and grab some of these things, totally go for it, because it was, what a great season, what a lot of fun that was, and I'm going to still collect more as much as I can get my hands on. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now let's get to our emailers, our social media stuff to wrap up this show. First, Jack says, I'm a big fan of the show. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Jamal says, let's get to our social media. Jamal says, being a wrestling fan, I'm starting to forget what a crowd sounds like for wrestling. You get that too? Yes, it's been very weird. But I really like the way AEW has been doing their wrestling, so I'm cool. And it's the best that you can do right now. And if and when XFL comes back, what teams will keep their original names and original cities? Which teams are likely to move? Get this question a lot. According to my sources, Dallas and Houston are in, LA might move somewhere in that Los Angeles area. Tampa might move to Orlando. New York is still going to be there. They're just going to move to a smaller venue, perhaps. DC will be there. St. Louis and Seattle, they'll all be there. So none of the teams are changing. Clearly, there's no way on green earth that they would expand, because that would be crazy nonsense. But it's going to be the original teams. Nothing is going to change. Why would you switch team names? You went through all that for 5 games. You'll move Tampa. The Vipers will just be Orlando. That's all. No big deal. Don checking in. Cacaw, I was thrilled to see the XFL Weekend Review pop up with a new episode. I think optimistically a 50-50 chance the league will come back. I am rooting for Disney or Fox as the purchaser. We are as well. I am definitely, that would probably be my number one choice. I'm concerned about the NFL and what they would do. I think they would strip it down and it would be pointless for them to do it. I'm hoping some kind of entity, TNT, really that's it. I don't see any billionaires out there. I mean, left just Jeff Bezos and Amazon was like, yeah, let's fire up a league and put all the games on Amazon as a way to, I think any of these guys who do it can use it potentially in some way, leveraged against the NFL and their monstrous money that they want. He said the NFL would be the worst possible choice for St. Louis. It would be difficult for them to host a team in St. Louis after publicly declaring that St. Louis is not a strong enough market to host a team. True. In fact, there are still legal cases between several entities in St. Louis and the NFL, Rams and Kroenke. So I would not be surprised if the first thing the NFL would do is to strip the market with the most avid fans and biggest support of a team. I could see them just sitting on it and letting it die and making stupid NFL-like changes and killing it that way. I'm with you. See, that's my fear too. Please keep us informed. I look forward to your next podcast to pop up on my feed. Don checking in. Thanks for the email. At first, I was like, oh, NFL. Now I'm like, nah, not NFL. I'm afraid, like, one of these major league fantasy, whatever, football leagues that have been talking about coming to life for years and years and years, buying the league and doing nothing with it. That's the biggest fear. So thanks for the email, Don. Ciandre says, do you think if Disney buys the XFL, they will expand the league with an Orlando franchise? Well, we talked about Tampa would move to Orlando. I don't know. It's really hard because, I mean, what would shareholders think? It would be such a fraction of a price. And you could have the games in Orlando for that season. There's just so much, I don't know. That would be the best case scenario. Keep Jeffrey Pollock, try to get Oliver Luck back, get the crew back together, all the team presidents, and let's roll. David, about season ticket refunds. Curious if you know with the recent court filings and such, is there any recourse for season ticket holders? I put my request in for a refund well before the deadline, and while I did get something, I'm about $500 short for season tickets for the Houston Roughnecks. I called the only number I could find and got a short recording that the XFL has ceased operation. It was sure fun while it lasted. My understanding with season tickets is that that's one of the top priorities that will get paid when somebody buys the league, is to refund the season ticket holders because they want to keep them whole, and then they can potentially reinvest that money back into the league and we can get things rolling again. So season ticket holders, if you haven't got your money already, is the top priority, is my understanding. Finally, Gary checking in says, hoping the XFL makes a comeback. I went to the last XFL game here in Houston, went with my son and his friend. Parking tickets were in and out of around $100. You're not going to an NFL game for that kind of money. We had a great time. There was a solid crowd at the game and a really good atmosphere. That being said, I'm hoping either Disney or Fox or both of them buy out the XFL. That would be a great bargaining chip with the NFL. See, that's what I was saying. I also tend to think those corporations are looking at where the sports landscape is going to be in another 10 to 15 years down the road. The amount of money that it would take to get the XFL up and running would be a drop in the bucket for an outfit like Disney. And like you said, one of those outfits could go from 8 to 16 teams pretty quickly if they needed to scale things up. This is true. I live in Texas. I am not native born, quote, don't mess with Texas kind of guy, but I would give these guys props for their love of football. If the XFL is going to relocate teams, they definitely look at putting a team in San Antonio and another one in Austin. Texas loves football. And having 4 teams clustered in driving distance would make a hell of a lot more sense than trying to go into Los Angeles market, which is a graveyard for sports franchises not named the Lakers. True. A Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Austin cluster would be a cost-saving travel cluster, and those 4 cities would have more or less 30 million in them and a bunch that like to watch football. Anyhow, I like your podcast. Take care. Keep up the good work. Gary, Katy, Texas, checking in. Thanks for the phone call or for the email. And now let's get to our first phone call.
My name is Jack. Hi, my name is Jack Stevens, and I'm a fan of your show. And I was wondering, do you think the XFL is going to come back, or do you think Disney is going to buy it, or what's your thoughts on it? Thank you.
Thanks for the phone call, Jack. Is the XFL going to come back? And I change all the time, especially with everything that's going on in the country. I'm always like, oh yeah, I think we're in the clear, and I'm like, I'm at 50-50. But right now, let's just say somebody buying the XFL, I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm like in that 70 or 80% range of somebody buying it. The real question, it's who. Are we going to get some schmoo that buys the rights and then doesn't do anything with it and doesn't have the capital to get things cranked up? Or are we going to get an outfit and surprise us who will buy it, and then they are everything in the court documents and I have gone through every single one. All there's not like 2 or 3. There's, I don't know, like 50 or something. Well, that might be a little much. No, I would say there's probably 50 plus documents. I looked at them all, and I can tell you they're ready to, hey, you signed the dotted line, you bought the league, we're going to fire things back up, we're going to make phone calls, we're going to bring everybody back, and we're going to move forward. That's the vibe. That's the way things are built. McMahon, the group so there's a committee that kind of is part of the bankruptcy thing, and they're the ones that kind of got into it with Vince about, was he just unloading it to buy it back? This whole deal. And they wanted to push the sale to go to like September-ish, like later October, to kind of finalize everything. And the XFL and McMahon and the XFL, the remaining entities of the XFL and Alpha Entertainment, were like, no, because we want you to, somebody's going to buy it, they need to turn the switch on in August. And if you do it in August, there's enough time to bring back coaches, have a draft in October. You're just turning the lights back on, because essentially they were basically, this is the off season anyway. And there's really nothing going on. Definitely couldn't have had any kind of the summer showcases anymore, let alone, I don't know if they were even planning to do them this year. They probably would have, but with everything going on, that was nixed. So it was basically like, we're just going to wait this thing out and fire it and have a draft in October and deal with stuff starting in November, getting people together and practicing again, and for another February kickoff, which may have been take place in Houston or in Florida. So they built this bankruptcy thing to flip the switch on and come back right away, not wait 2 years or whatever. So it's just really who is the buyer? That is the question. And if you've got $10, $20 million, you can buy the XFL. And this thing is ready to go, man. It is ready. Just turn the switch on and make it happen. So that's it for this week's show. We'll be back in a week or two. just as news happens, I got these cards. If you guys enjoyed the unboxing cards, we'll see how that goes. If I get anything else. Oh, also, I did get a nice swag. If you go to Dix.com and check out their stuff, they have XFL gear, and sometimes they run some nice sales. And I was able to get some DC Defenders gear. The stuff that I got was like $40 with shipped, and it was sweatshirt and all sorts of goodies. So keep your eye out on Dix. Follow us on social media, all that stuff. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, etc. We post all the things going on. We're not closing the door until the XFL officially closes its doors and it's gone for good. If nobody buys it, then that's it. And then we're just going to cover the guys that are in the NFL, and pretty much there's multiple ideas that we have going. So if you want to be part of the show, email podcast@xflnewshub.com or call 888-430-7692 extension 3. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, XFL News Hub. Plus, you know about our phone apps on the Android and iPhones as well. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'd really appreciate it. We'll read it on the next show. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. Show notes, xflnewshub.com/xfl-podcast. And join our Discord. Links in the show notes, links in the description. Great way. Conversations are still going on with XFL stuff. We have more content coming out this week, stuff that you've never heard before. So stay with XFL News Hub as always, because we really appreciate it. We ain't going anywhere until they tell us that it is officially done, and goodbye. So that's it for me, folks, and I will see you all later.